Supporters, welcome back to my channel. We have to talk about this disgusting man from Love is Blind season 7. My goodness gracious, when we talk about corn rotting a man's brain, he is the prime example of that. Like, he is just so repulsive to me in every way, shape, and form. My first red flag from him came in the pods when he was telling Monica that he cheated on an ex-girlfriend of his, right? So already, if you guys know about my channel, I cannot stand cheaters. I think a lack of integrity is just the most disgusting thing ever. That already was bad enough. But to make it even worse was the fact that he didn't even take proper responsibility and accountability for what it is that he did to his ex-girlfriend. He said to Monica, "Hey, Monica, I just want to let you know," and mind you, it's very obvious that he was only saying this because he knew that it would come out on the show, right? So he told her that I, quote, technically hold the badge or the scarlet letter of being a cheater, which is kind of like a roundabout way of saying I cheated and I'm not about to take responsibility for it, which I find to be a complete crock of, garbage. I think that Monica should have ran when he said that, because the fact that he cheated is already a red flag in and of itself. But to add insult to injury, him not taking proper accountability for it is just, to me, especially at his age, right? His big old age would just be too damn much to tolerate. But our girl, she wanted to see this through. She already caught feelings for this man and she decided to move forward. Now, fast forward to episode 8 of the show. And that is when we find out that this man has a serious problem. He is actually deviant. In my opinion, this man must consume like enough corn to have his brain melted and turned to mush and turned into just a creepy, pile of nonsense, right? So let's kind of set the scene, shall we? He and Monica are not getting along all that well because he hasn't been living up to the things that he promised her. In the pods, he said that he is a romantic man who loves to, surprise his woman with gifts, flowers, things like that. And that's why Monica is obsessively reminding him to get her flowers. You told me you were going to get me flowers and you still have not done that. What is the deal with that? Which, you know what? It was annoying in the moment, right? During the episode, but good for her holding him accountable. That's the problem with a lot of these men on Love is Blind, is that they will promise the women the sun, the moon, the earth, the stars, everything under the sun. But when push comes to shove and they win these women over, they're engaged and everything like that, they don't actually want to, follow through with the things that they are promising these women. And so obviously that was something that was irritating Monica. And, again, this is why I'm so happy that we're having people in their 30s. There's a certain level of confidence that you get, especially women, when you enter into your 30s, that allows you to advocate for yourself and to not accept BS and to not accept lies, right? So that's why you saw Monica really on his tail about that. And so, later on, what happens? Steven ultimately, when they leave the honeymoon location, he announces to Monica that he is now unemployed. He lost his job after taking time off for the show. And Monica then agrees as his fiance to support him financially while he looks for a new job. It's going to be rather easy because, but here's my thing too. To me, it would be a red flag that the man I'm engaged to, who decided to come onto the show looking for a wife, knowing that there was a possibility, because when he announced that he lost his job, he said that he he knew. And so that's why he turned it up to work. Like, hey, do I still have a job sort of a vibe, right? So knowing that you could potentially lose your job, or just in general, as a responsible man looking for a wife, you should have a certain level of savings, right? Like, you should have a rainy day fund, something. And Monica obviously is someone who falls into that category of someone who plans for all this. So to me, I don't think I would have offered to support a random man that, yeah, I'm engaged to him, but I barely know him, and we're only in this experiment for a couple of weeks before we decide whether or not to get married. The man should be able to sustain himself off of his savings for a couple of weeks if I'm going to say yes to marrying him. So, I already felt like, again, that was Monica kind of lowering the bar for herself a little bit more there when it comes to Steven, but I digress. And so he's so happy and he's so excited that Monica is about to finance him for a little bit And then he starts talking about like weird actual things to where the alarm bells just start ringing in my head. I had an ick from him from the very, very beginning. He just, I don't know, like I just don't jive with him, especially with the way he called her a mutt. And then, you know, him talking about his political history. But then, yeah, after Monica tells him that like she will like support him for a little bit, he's like, oh, you'll support me? And he always has this like wide eye thing. And you know what? Another thing I can't stand about him, he mansplains everything. He just goes on, and I can't stand it. So anyway, he's like, you'll support me. Wow, that's amazing. And I just want you to know that I'm totally okay with you treating me like a piece of meat. If ever you want to like, just tell me, take your clothes off. I will take my clothes off and you can ravish me. I was like, okay, like, listen, it's one thing to have this kind of like, you know, a fantasy. Fine, good for you. Go ahead with that. But like for him to like just be like that was really, really weird to me. And you know, even and then next he starts talking about like how as a man he was always ready to go. And he says, listen, as a man, I could stick my thing in anything. Pineapples, I could stick it in like oat mac and cheese. And I was like, okay, that's very, very weird, but okay. And I don't think he's joking. The eyes are giving, I'm not joking. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, he tells her that he wants her to like do him up the butt. And then she reveals that he's been poking her up the butt, knowing she doesn't want to do butt stuff. And I'm like, oh, so you're trying to like pushing someone's actual boundaries, like red flags on red flags with this man. I'm telling you, Poern has rotted his brain, in my opinion. Like these are the types of guys you have to watch out for. Look out for these creepy jokes about boning, you know, food and animals or whatever, because these guys, they're not joking, y'all. They're not joking. They really are this weird, and they really are this creepy, and they really are this dangerous. And especially if he's going to start and he knows you don't want to do a certain thing, you don't want it in a certain place, and he keeps on trying to, you know, put it there or accidentally, you know, that type of stuff. Do not accept that nonsense, ladies. Okay. Now I do want to kind of jump back to episode 7, because I think that's where other red flags about him started popping up. There was a moment where, like, before they all headed back home, and this, again, Monica clocked it, and she started giving him the cold shoulder and everything, as she should have, but she should have dumped him there and then, but she just didn't. She was snickering to the girls about how he was scared of her and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, girl, like, who cares about if he's scared of you or not? Like, you should not be in his life. Like, let him go bother the next, you know, sucker, because, you know, it should not be you. Like, why would you want to deal with this guy and all of his problems, right? So, for example, they were all watching some kind of fireworks show, and then Monica wanted him to watch it with her, like the other couples, like they were being all like romantic and lovey-dovey about the fireworks show, which was natural. It was meant for that, right? And so Steven refused to come out there with Monica. He was busy talking to Garrett, who is Taylor's fiance. And then Monica comes back and she's being all sarcastic. She's like, oh, that was so romantic, Steven. Thanks so much for watching that with me. He's like, I'm sorry. And so he sits down. Amongst all of the ladies, literally all of the ladies were there, and this man proceeds to embarrass his fiance. He goes, you know, I was in the middle of a very, very deep conversation with Garrett, Monica, and he's always like so like intellectualizing of the stupid things he says, right? And you would think he was going to say something serious, but it's some foolishness. He's like, you know, see, Garrett and I, we were talking like, when this show airs, okay, there's going to be so many women who want to suck our dick. I was like, what? Like, the ick I got. Monica, you were doing charity work as it was. And then when the personality just kept getting worse and worse and worse, the fact that you did not leave leads me to believe that there is something going on with you internally. Either you're someone who just refuses to quit even when they should, or your self-esteem and self-worth is a lot lower than you portray it as being, because she comes across as very, like, you know, snooty, so to speak, because I gotta admit, even she annoyed me a lot, actually, in this new batch of episodes, especially with her Valley Girl voice and stuff. Kate Spade, more like Yves Saint Laurent, or like Louis Vuitton. Do you know who Louis Vuitton is? Like that type of stuff. But deep down, something's not right, or she wouldn't have stuck with Steven. The icks were just too much with this guy. So in front of all of your lady friends and stuff, everybody's engaged, looking to get married. You miss out on a romantic moment with your fiance because you want to talk to another man about a hypothetical scenario in which random women on the internet that you don't know want to suck your really, like, that is so lame, that is so stupid, and that is just so embarrassing for you, like the desperation that you exhibit and the fact that everything turns towards sex with you. Like, come on now. And Monica, that coupled with the fact that this man is an admitted cheater, you should have seen the signs from a mile away. Now let's get into what this dirty dog did, okay? So he goes off to what he claims is a sleep study test or whatever. And then Monica somehow, and I say somehow because this was never really like explained to us, right? About how she found this information out. But she somehow finds text messages between him and a random woman and they're discussing a lot of like, things, intimate things that they would like to do to each other, that Stephen would like to have done to him particularly. And she says it's some very like, extreme fetishist stuff, which, okay, if that's what you're into, okay. I think a lot of things that people are into point to certain, traumas that they might have or certain core addictions that they might have, but that is a conversation for another day, right? People don't like to be clocked on that. So again, conversation for another day. But the fact that he's having that, that's not even the major problem here. The fact that he's having that conversation with another woman as he's engaged to be married to Monica is unacceptable. But again, Monica, this man told you in the pods before he got engaged to you that he was a dirty D cheater. I know a lot of ladies and people like to think that people can change this and the other, or they'll be the special one to change a person. I prefer to be a lot more, what do you call it? Negative, pessimistic about that type of stuff. I would like someone that doesn't even need to change. I would like someone who has so much integrity that the idea of cheating is just disgusting to them, because that's the type of person that I am. And that's the type of person I deserve, being that that's the type of person I am. I don't want to project. I don't want to risk it. And unfortunately, that is what Monica chose to do with this. Okay. So, we see her, she is just so distressed and beside herself with the news. Okay. She was totally in shock, and she was with Taylor. Okay. Let me put up a photo of Taylor in case any of you guys forgot about her, but Taylor was her friend. And, it's funny because these two, like, you can see that they got really close. I think they were besties from this experiment, because there was a moment when she was out on a date with Steven, and she told him that she had just done like Pilates class with Taylor. So like, that really is her girl. So it's really, really nice that she was there to support her. And Taylor tells her that Steven's comment to the other women about other women wanting to S his D when the show would air was a major red flag. And I'm like, yes, Taylor, thank you for clocking it. Monica, I'm sure you knew it was a red flag, but unfortunately you probably thought, hey, like, whatever, like, we got to ride this out to the altar, because remember, there are contractual obligations that these people have. It's not as easy for them to break it off as it is for you or I to break things off. Okay. Like, they have a contract. They are threatened with lawsuits, like things like that. So I think she probably felt like, okay, I'm going to say no at the altar, and that'll be that. I don't think that Monica had any inkling that Steven would do anything like this. I think that she probably thought that this was a reasonable person, right, who would be capable of at least behaving like a well-balanced, normal human being for a couple of weeks, knowing that he was going to be aired on television for the entire world to see. People talk about, oh, this is on the show that you're talking about, this is a national show. No, it's not a national show. A national show would only air in the United States of America. This airs all around the world. I'm watching it from France. Okay, you guys, my family, my other friends are watching it from Canada. People are watching it from around the world. A lot of you guys watching me, like, type your country in the comment section. Let's talk about how international this is. You guys could be from anywhere. You guys could be from, North America. You could be from South America. You could be from Asia, Africa, the Middle East, Australia, like Antarctica. I don't know. Like, this is why I think that Monica stuck it out, for contract, and because she didn't think that this guy was so sick, so twisted, and so corn addicted that he would do some creepy thing like this in the middle of filming, knowing that it could destroy truly, truly destroy his relationship. But that's the thing. When someone's brain has been rotted by corn so badly, they don't even think like rational human beings. They think like sick and depraved animals. Okay, you guys, that is the level that this guy was operating on, and it is scary. It is creepy. Like his face, everything about him is so creepy to me after watching episode 8. Okay, so remember how I told you that Taylor said that like his weird comments about other girls wanting to come out of the woodwork to below him were a red flag. The camera pans out and you see Steven in the kitchen. So they were having this conversation on the couch in front of the kitchen in the condo, and Steven was there the whole time. And the way I laughed, because I thought this was a private convo, entre les filles, between girls. But no, Steven was there listening to Taylor talk about he was a red flag and a creep from the beginning. Oh, gag it, girl. Gag it. That was too damn funny. That was one of, I love unintentional humor, and that was a good one for me. Now, and then she calls his behavior evil, you guys, and I agree. To do that to your fiance, but here's the thing. I don't even know if I would call him evil. I truly think that this man has watched so much corn that his brain is fried, dyed, and laid to the side. It is melting like, a fried egg off the sidewalk. No, like an ice cream cone on a hot summer day. The way that thing just melts. That is this man's brain, in my humble opinion. Okay. And then Taylor leaves the apartment, and Steven sits down for Monica to talk about what happened. So she's like, Steven, what the hell are you doing? You were texting another woman about fetishes and coming. And then, he has nothing to say. He just stares at her in shock. And then as she starts crying, he panics. And it was so creepy. It was like seeing a rat scurry. When you turn on the lights. This happened to me in one of my Parisian apartments. There's a rat there. That's why I moved. I was like, oh, absolutely not. Like it's in the night, and you hear squeak, squeak, squeak. You're like, no, that can't be. And it was my first time having a rat. I was like, oh, it can't be. It's a rat, ratatouille. That was Steven. Like, you turn on the light, the rat scurries. That was him. As soon as she shed one little tear, he was like this. And then he runs off to the kitchen. Oh my God, with his little tail between his legs. And so he turns out that he was texting that lady, the day before, even the same day that Monica was confronting him. He was trying to downplay it. He's like, I don't even know what I was doing. Like, that just happened. She's like, no, this is something you've been doing for over 24 hours, you bum bee. And then Steven says he's a jerk, and, he's just going to leave her life because, what's the point, right? Because he's a terrible person, which true, thank God. And so Monica, at this point, she's like, yeah, you could leave my life. I don't give enough. But what about that money you owe me? I carried your broke ass, through your unemployment, and you were doing this behind my back. Give me my money back. Venmo me right freaking now. And guess what he did? He pulled out his phone, which, by the way, should probably be run under a UV light, but I digress. Is it a UV light or a white light? Y'all let me know. And he transferred that money. So it's kind of like, okay, so he had the money, but he was letting his girl pay. Girls, this is why you don't play these games with these men, okay? Why are you financing a random man you don't know? And the man who talks about being ready for marriage and he doesn't have savings, please let him suffer on his own. Goodbye. And what happened next? And he's lying to you in your face, using the money that you paid for his phone bill to text another woman, like all this creepy stuff, GTFO. And so at this point, Steven apologizes and says that he shouldn't have come on the show, which breaks Monica's heart. And I could feel her poor heart breaking. And it's because, at the end of the day, she's realizing that this was a show to him. This wasn't real love to him. This wasn't a real engagement. This wasn't anything other than him looking to get on TV and to find ladies, which, I'm sorry, and I'm thinking something and it's very harsh. So it's too harsh, and it's not in terms of personality. So I'm not going to say it on my channel, but The way I would love to say it, but I am not going to say it, you guys. I don't even know why I brought that up, but it's boiling me inside. The things I want to unleash. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to text my bestie because she and we are no holds barred with each other. I'm going to be like, oh my God. You know, I got to keep it cute. Got to keep it demure on this channel, but the things I want to say, oh, you know what? My sister, I'm going to call her. I know she's working, but this is more important. I'm going to call her. Yeah, honestly, this guy is desperate. His brain is rotten. You know, like bubble guts, bubble brains. Now, let's talk about the way that Steven has been handling the blowback. Shall we? Give me one quick second. I got some screenshots from his Instagram account, and I really want to pull them up for you guys, okay, so that we can discuss the ways in which this man continues to not take accountability for his reprehensible, putrid behavior. And again, this goes to show you, ladies, when a man tells you who he is or he shows you who he is, believe him the first time. He told you that he was recently cheating. This is a grown man. There's no excuse for you to be cheating, okay? And then on top of that, he doesn't take full accountability or describe how he has changed or grown or moved forward. Monica, instead of getting the ick from that, what did she do? She coddled him like he was the victim. He traumatized the woman, but Monica's like, oh, I'm so sorry you cheated. That must have been so hard for you. And now it's hard for you, boo-boo the fool. Now it's hard for you. Anyway, give me a second. I'm going to pull up... the screen grabs of Steven crashing out on Instagram over his representation in episode 8 of Love is Blind. By the way, if you're enjoying this stream, please do make sure to subscribe to my channel for more Love is Blind recaps and other entertainment videos in general, and like it so that my videos continue to pop up in your algorithm. All right, 1 second, BR. Okay, I've got the photos pulled up. Let's get into them, shall we? So he started off in his Instagram stories with like this like self-victimization there, right? It's Spider-Man all downtrodden and stuck in the rain. And it said, me preparing to face your judgment in my now perceived villain arc. So you're a perceived villain. So you're cheating again as a grown-ass man, as a loser. And it's a perceived, okay, whatever. What this is exactly who he told us he was from the very beginning. So I'm not even going to be mad at him over that, though I will. I'm mad at Monica over that too, because there's no way that this man should have ever gotten engaged to you in the first place. What is this, right? Then he posted a photo of him and Monica during happier times in a car, and it said, Chekhov's gun. I missed all the red flags and foreshadowing. Oh, so this was somebody else. Somebody else said that they missed all the red flags and foreshadowing of what a dirty dog that Steven is. And so Steven reposted it and said, I am whatever the fans of Love is Blind want me to be. So he is 100% allergic to taking accountability. I'm a perceived cheater because I cheated on my ex, right? Now it's a perceived villain arc. Now, I'm not a dirty dog. This is what the fans of Love is Blind want me to be. Ladies, thank you, Steven, for going on TV and for going on social media to show us that you are complete, unadulterated trash. A lot of times, ladies, when you end up with a man who is pure trash like Steven, it's because you don't know, and they manipulate the truth, this, that, and the other, and you have no way of like knowing his background. But he just handed his trashness on a silver platter to you. All you have to do is watch Love is Blind. All you have to do is Google his name. You'll see videos like this here on TikTok or articles or whatever, recapping how big of an asshole he is, how creepy of a person he is, how much corn has rotted his brain, in my opinion, because wow, he does these things. He devastates people. He hurts people. Then he turns around and says, oh, you think I hurt you? Like, that's just your perception. I didn't do shit. Like, this guy is a terrible person. There's something fundamentally wrong with him. And then he wanted to prove to us that his, now where the heck is that picture? Hang on, that you saw it, didn't you? And it just kind of like jumped out. Let me go back and find it. But the next picture was him showing off that he really did do that sleep test study. Allegedly, I'm still not buying it because he claimed that he was drunk during this thing and that he was texting, which to me sounds like it doesn't make any sense for a sleep test study. Like, I would imagine that for a sleep test study, they would want you to get proper sleep and to be well rested and whatnot. So why would they have you out here drinking and texting all night? It just does not make sense to me. I imagine that this is photo from another time that he probably like photoshopped to make it look like it occurred on October of last year, which is when they were filming, but I digress. So there he is in bed, strapped up, saying the doctors are monitoring if I have psychic powers or not. And then he reposted it, right, with the timestamp of October 25th, 2023, with the caption that says, looks like I might have psychic powers because I totally saw this upset coming an entire year ago. Laughing emoji. Are you well, Stephen? You cheat on your fiance. You act like a complete and utter creep. And now here you are laughing, talking about your psychic because you saw that. You don't have to be psychic to know that shitty actions and just terrible behavior leads to backlash. What part of that is psychic? You know, like this man is such a rotten person. And again, he swears he's so intellectual and so intelligent, yet he acts like a caveman, you know, like just yuck, no discipline, no nothing. And then he's here like, oh, I'm so smart. I saw this coming. Anyone could have seen this coming, dude. Anytime you behave this way, anytime you mistreat people like this, especially when it is a repeated pattern of behavior, such as in your case, you will be dragged. You will be dealt with. Period. So now he posts about having 6,432 followers saying, tune in to Love is Blind Netflix to see the latest drama. Take it from this guy. It's pretty juicy. You devastated someone. You blindsided someone. You traumatized someone. You betrayed someone. You know, you made someone cry based off of your terrible actions. What do you mean this is juicy drama? This is real life, Stephen. Stephen, there's something wrong with you. I think you need mental help, because something's not clicking up there. I don't know if it's sociopathy. I don't know if it's narcissism. I don't know if it's like you being slow, but this is serious stuff that you're out here doing to women. It's not funny. It's very scary, your reaction to it. He says, it's okay, guys. It's only been a few days since we met. We're still getting to know one another. I hope I didn't ruin anyone's day by existing. And if I did, I'm sorry you had to wake up this morning. I wish you didn't have to either. So now like these thinly veiled, like, oh, like, you know, you don't like me and my terrible behavior. It's too bad you didn't die in your sleep type of stuff. This guy is unhinged. Like he is giving Shake a run for his money. I hope they dogpile him at the reunion. This man, show him no mercy, please, you guys. But I love you all just the same. Now I've got to go to work. These bills ain't gonna pay themselves. Then he also shared a DM that he received from someone saying that, you know, so the person responded to this story that he shared, okay? And it's where he says he is what the fans of Love is Blind want him to be. And the person said, you are a cheater. That's what you are, not what people want you to be. And that's true. And then here comes Steven, slow Steven. Oh, that's what my therapist, he can't even spell therapist correctly, mind you, told me. And he's laughing, laughing, laughing. What's funny about that? It's the truth. And again, you seriously harm people with your repeated pattern of toxic behavior. I'm waiting to find a moment to laugh about all that. Like, it's sick. It's sickening. It is what it is. And then someone left him. And so he then went ahead. So I'm skipping a little bit ahead here. So he then posted a video of him at work, you know, sledgehammering some wooden walls and some tight pants. And he said, training to battle all the stay-at-home wives that hate me for ruining the fantasy of who they think I am. And it's like, okay, first of all, it's not just stay-at-home wives. It's men. It's, you know, and it's, here's the thing, like women have identities out of, you know, outside of who we're in relationships with and who we are mothers to or whatever, right? Or daughters to. Like, why don't you just say women? You know, why does it have, you know, why does it have to be like, you know, centered on a man and like stay-at-home wife in this economy, especially in an economy where women are outperforming men and out earning men and purchasing homes as single women, you know, more than men? Stop with this like trope that like, you know, women need men or, you know, are nothing without men. Like, be quiet. So anyway, he says that, yeah, he broke this fantasy of, and it's like, why do you find that funny? Like people, you know, some deluded people thought you were a good person and you proved that you're trash, and you're out here making memes doubling down on the fact that you're trash. Like, Again, this guy is so weird, you guys. I think something's just not clicking with him. And so I did want to share this comment that I saw over there. Someone said, Stephen, we were all rooting for you, but you said it yourself in the pods. You cheated by texting a woman and emotionally cheating. Weeks into this relationship, you were doing the same thing, plus accidentally trying to engage in anal sex. Might I suggest Addicts Anonymous? The way you parade yourself around like a really nice, respectful, happy dude, but push so many actual boundaries and eventually break people's trust and their hearts. It's not okay. Getting up when Monica started crying, even because you didn't want to see the damage you caused. You can't just emotionally tune out when it's convenient. So, well said to you. And I think that that's something that Stephen really needed to hear. I saw that he liked the comment, but again, there's something missing. There's a chip missing. There's an empathy chip missing. There's a brain chip missing. I think that corn rotted his brain and there's not much of it left. There might be about 2, perhaps 3 cells in there. And maybe that's why it's just not clicking to him that what he did is abhorrent. What he did is cruel. What he did was toxic. And what he did was just so hurtful, so harmful, and I'm glad that this commenter also brought up the fact that he was pushing Monica's boundaries. He knew Monica didn't want it in her butt, but he kept on trying to put it in there. What does that make you, Stephen? There's a word for that, there's a crime for that, Stephen. So think long and hard before you start kikiing, laughing on the internet about the fact that you mistreat people. It's not funny. And one day, let me tell you, you're gonna get caught up. You're going to catch a charge if you keep playing around like this. You are going to catch a charge. And I will not be the slightest bit surprised, Stephen. Complete and utter garbage. There was no reason for you to get up on that show. You have nothing to offer any woman. You have nothing to offer anybody at all. Just stay alone. Keep stocking up on those lotions and those, handkerchiefs and whatnot. That's all you've got going on in life. You're just yuck. One of the most disgusting people I've ever seen on the show, truly. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you thought about episode 8. I'm out of words, really. I've said it all. I've done it all. Now I want to go for a little walk with the dog to enjoy this little sliver of afternoon sun we've got going on. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as usual, chat. Once again, don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and to subscribe for more Love is Blind recaps. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.